in the context of Hinduism's goal of human existence, as it is understood by or believed by Hinduism, and secondly, the path to its attainment. So with these 2 points, let me proceed. Now, just by way of comparison, let me put some things before you. See, in West, and of course including Middle Asia, we find a kind of phenomenon which is recognized as, you can say, Abrahamic religions, or you can also say Semitic religions, which include Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Now, in spite of the disputes and quarrels, even culminating into wars, it is obvious that these 3 religions have much more in common. Their goal, at least, it is the attainment of heaven. They may differ in some kinds of means or some other things, but they share the worldview, they share mythology, common mythology, belief system. So the point is that they share in common many things like mythology, like worldviews, their eschatological things, beliefs, etc., and so on and so forth. Even if you just go through the names, you will find Abraham or Ibrahim. So many things are common. The theory of universe, the Genesis, for example, how God created Adam and then Eve, and the whole genealogy they share. Now, if you come to Indian scenario, what will you find? You will find that there are 3 major religions, almost parallel to the West. They are commonly or popularly recognized as Hinduism. Earlier, it was known as Vedic religion, then Jainism and Buddhism. Now, the 3 religions in West, they have they are categorized as Semitic religions. The 3 religions in India, how are we to categorize them? There is no perhaps similar term or parallel term like Semitic in India. Nevertheless, these 3 religions bear the same kind of relationship, which is borne by the 3 religions which are called Semitic religions. That is to say, ancestral, then common mythology almost. So many things are there which are shared by these 3 things. So culturally, at least one can say, if we talk of Semitic culture, then we can definitely talk of, you may call it Indian culture, because people would like to be classified as Aryan or non-Aryans, etc. There are so many disputes and controversies. So I can say, well, Indian culture. Well, so these are the 3 main religions. And therefore, as you can say that the goal of 3 Semitic religions, at least so far as their scriptures indicate, is similar or the same. The goals of these 3 religions in India, of course, there may be differences in particular concepts, articulating them. But suppose if I put it in this way, well, there are definitely some pundits. They may project some kind of heaven, other world, along with, of course, hell, and place the people who are, who have well behaved, who have gained some merit, they can be placed in heaven, and others can be thrown into the hell. That is a different story. So there is definitely some place of these 2 things, heaven and hell, especially some Vedic lore, which is called, which is earlier part of Vedas, you can say, and which was expanded by the school called Purva Mimamsa, or sometimes simply Mimamsa. They believe in performing sacrifices, yajna, and whatever merit they gain out of this karma kanda, this ritualistic performance of sacrifice, they will gain some place, at least for some time, in what they call Swarga. Okay, but over and above all these kind of heavenly things, let me tell you that the real goal of human life, as these three religions, really speaking, have assumed. Of course, there are differences regarding the nature of that goal. As most, you may call it emancipation or liberation, or sometimes as nirvana, as it is called, sometimes as kaivalya. But it is not equivalent to Swarga. This is clear. And that is not to be attained by some kind of performance of rituals. It has some, relationship with a kind of deep contemplation, deep conviction, a particular consciousness, and so on and so forth. But that apart. So these three religions believe in a kind of emancipation. This is one thing. The second thing is that we will come to the ways of attainment later on. Even the internal differences regarding the nature of the moksha or kaivalya or etc. My point here is that therefore these three religions also share. Okay. Now what they do not share, and here is the difference between the Semitic religions and these three religions. They do not share scripture. Now, of course, one won't dare to say that the Christians would accept the Bible or the Muslims will accept. It's not a question of acceptance. There is a very rich and long tradition of prophets. It began with Judaism. Now, the prophets of the Jews are acceptable to not only the Christians, but also to the Muslims. Now, Jews don't accept, definitely, the prophets of Christianity, especially Jesus, and of course, Muhammad. But the Christians would definitely accept the earlier line of the prophets. Similarly, the Muslims would definitely accept the prophets of Judaism and also prophets of Christianity, that is Jesus himself in particular. But where they would differ, they would say that, well, when it comes to Muhammad, it ends. There is no scope for coming up some more prophets later on in future, etc. And when it comes to some disagreement, etc., even among the scriptures and prophets, the last word for them would be of definitely Muhammad. But again, look at the shareability. Now, if this thing is to be applied to the three religions in India, and by way of comparison, one can say that, well, there is no such lineage or line of the prophets as such. So Hinduism is not a prophetic religion. It is not religions of the prophets. There are rishis, for example, definitely, but they are not recognized or acknowledged as prophets. But that is a different story. My point is that, so there is, one cannot ask this question, that how many or who are those persons in Vedic religion acceptable to Buddhism or Jainism, and vice versa. But in spite of this, there are so many rishis, etc., revered by, respected by all three traditions. Definitely. Now, there will be differences of opinion, let me tell you, regarding the relationship between the Vedic religion and the Buddhism and the Jainism. And definitely the Jainas and Buddhas would not like, at least the fundamentalists among them, because everywhere, in every religion there are some fundamentalists. They would not like or appreciate any relationship with a kind of other religions, like at least Vedic religions. They would say, no, we are totally different. But as I am a student of history also, let me tell you that there is a great tradition, and these three religions belong to one cultural tradition. Now, how to name it, I don't know. You may say it is basically an Aryan tradition. If you don't like that word, you may say that it is Indian, or for that purpose, anyone. I have no problem. But there is one common tradition. And then how they share the common things, for example, as I told you, the very idea of the goal of human life. Yes, they share it. They may share some personalities among their, in their mythologies. If, for example, let us talk about Buddha himself. Buddha and Mahavir, that is the Jain, Mahavir, the last Tirthankar of the Jainas. Now they were contemporaries. But apart from that, Krishna, who is believed to be an incarnation, the God himself for the Hindus, Krishna preceded these two. Okay. But the point is that Krishna is accepted by both these traditions, by this way or by that way. In both traditions, in Jaina tradition, Krishna is accepted as the brother of their own, perhaps 23rd or 22nd Tirthankar. They are accepted. Aristonemi, okay, or Neminath. Similarly, even as his brother, Aristonemi and Krishna were cousins. Okay. Or even the Jainas have, the Buddhists have accepted Krishna in the form of the earlier birth, we can say earlier incarnation of Bodhisattva Buddha himself, as Ghatta Pandit. Similarly, Hinduism has accepted Buddha himself, look at Buddha himself, as their ninth incarnation of Vishnu. And similarly, some of the Tirthankars, now Aristonemi, as I just told you, then Rishabhadev, the first Tirthankar of the Jainas. We will find these personalities in Hindu mythology, in the Vedas, in Upanishads, in Puranas, and so on and so forth. So the point is that they are offshoots of one and the same cultural tradition. Okay, they share, apart from the mythologies and eschatology and the etc., they also share this important belief that about the goal of human life, and that is, let them use different words, and sometimes these words are exchangeable, interchangeable. Yeah, Nirvana, the word Nirvana would be accepted by the Hindu religion also. In Bhagavad Gita, we find it. This will be, of course, in interpretation. Okay, so this is clear. Now, as I am supposed to concentrate on Hinduism, let me come back to the issue. Now, what? And let me again tell you that there is a kind of evolution even within Hinduism, to begin with. And you see, the scholars in Hinduism have acknowledged this difference. Now let us quote Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he begins with this kind of statement that the Vedic religion is of two kinds. Vividho, of two kinds. First, pravrutti lakshan, and second, nivrutti lakshan. And this, look at this kind of difference is accepted, acknowledged. So these are the two dharma, really speaking, which is one dharma. Dvividho, dviprakaraka. Which are they? Pravrutti lakshan and nivrutti lakshan. Now, what is pravrutti lakshan dharma? And more importantly, both of these dharmas, they accept one and the same scripture, sacred scripture, we can say, and that is the Vedas. This is how Shankaracharya proceeds in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Now, so far as the pravrutti lakshan dharma is concerned, it consists of Vedic rituals, especially yajna, sacrifice, etc., etc. And what these people are supposed to do? This pravrutti lakshan dharma is for abhyudaya. So abhyudaya means something like mijaji, this worldly. So your prosperity in this world, the protection, sustenance, continuation, prospering of human society is indicated or denoted by the word abhyudaya. And this abhyudaya is possible because that kind of dharma it revolves around the center called yajna. So they would definitely enjoy this worldly life, and not only that, with whatever they have done in this life, they will claim their right over their place in the heaven. So enjoying the kind of life here in this world and even after, okay, another world. That is called pravrutti lakshan dharma. The second kind of dharma, Vedic dharma, is called nivrutti lakshan dharma. So what is this nivrutti lakshan dharma? Those who follow this type of dharma, they hesitate the performance of at least sacrificial rituals because they don't want to enter in heaven after the death, or even while they are here, they don't want to indulge themselves in kind of gross enjoyment, etc., etc. Because they want to understand the real nature of human soul, human self, and its relation to, you can use the word Paramatman, Brahman, universal self, or whatever the term you prefer. So their relationship between these two, and thereby, look at thereby accomplishing the moksha itself. So the moksha is nothing else but a kind of understanding, kind of knowledge, kind of consciousness of one's own real nature. And the excess of such enjoyments, which is preferred by the Mimamsakas, as I just told you, the pravrutti lakshan dharma, in fact, comes in the way of this kind of enlightenment, realization of one's own nature, real nature, and realizing one's own nature itself is emancipation. So that is the goal for human life. For whom? For the other type of dharma, which is called nivrutti lakshan dharma. So there is a kind of contemplative life, yeah, not full of activity, etc. And therefore they would, as far as possible, try to avoid actions. Okay. And these two, but now look at further. The Mimamsakas or the pravrutti lakshan people, they won't accept moksha as their ideal. They would say that we enjoy this kind of cycle, doesn't matter. Okay, we will be born as human beings, we will perform sacrifices, Vedic sacrifices, and with that strength, we will again enter the heaven, enjoy the refined, enjoyments there. Okay, and okay, we'll come back. No problem for that. Whereas the nivrutti lakshan people, that type of dharma, would say, no, we are not interested in this. Okay, so these two, right? So this is how it is interpreted by Shankaracharya. People like Lokmanya Tilak, they would definitely differ because they will not emphasize on the ritualistic aspect and aspect of heaven as such, aspect of enjoying it. No, they would say that pravrutti means, your life has a social aspect, a political aspect, and you owe some duties to your society, and therefore you are bound to, morally bound, of course, morally bound to perform those actions which are necessary for the well-being, sustenance, etc., of your society, of your fellow beings, and that's all. And that is pravrutti lakshan. And even if, look at the other thing, even if you realize yourself as a kind of super self, you may say, universal self, even then that knowledge won't demand on your part to renounce the actions, the worldly actions. So there is no conflict between hakiki and mizaji. If I borrow the term from Islamic tradition, this worldly life, and because moksha would not be in that sense other world as heaven. Heaven is something somewhere located, but so far as the moksha is concerned, it is not located anywhere. So that is the third position, ritualistic pravrutti yoga and duty-based pravrutti yoga, which is called karma yoga or nishkam karma yoga. So you get my point, perhaps. That is the two kinds of religions having different interpretations, as I just told you, the goals. Okay. Now, how Shankaracharya would react on this? This means the two kinds of religions. He says that, well, apparently the Vedic would believe that there are two types of Vedic religion itself is of two types. Ultimately, this is not the case. Then what is it? What is the case? The reality is that the second, that is the nivrutti lakshan religion, which consists of renunciation of worldly actions and gaining knowledge, being enlightenment, having. These are important things. Not everyone is capable of that. It presupposes some conditions which are prerequisite of this. So far as the common people are concerned, who don't have any kind of understanding of the real nature, and therefore there is no for them, there is no drive for them which pushes them to renouncing these worldly things. Now such people like you and me, they would say common people, most people are like this. So they are supposed to perform Pravrutti Lakshan Dharma. They are supposed to perform Pravrutti Lakshan Dharma, but not with the intent of attainment of the heaven, because they believe, Shankaracharya and his followers believe, that if you perform the Pravrutti Lakshan Dharma, including the ritualistic performances like yajna, etc., without the desire for the results, the fruits, then these actions will not lead you to disastrous effects of karma, whether the heaven or the hell, but they will purify your heart, your mind, or mindset, and thereby you will become eligible, capable of understanding, of having knowledge of that reality, or the relationship between yourself and that universal self, Brahman, and that itself is moksha. So for them, the Nivritti Lakshan Dharma is not ultimate. So ultimately, the religion becomes one branch only, one type, because the Pravrutti Lakshan Dharma assumes a characteristic of means to the end. It is not an end in itself. Perform regularly as anyone performs that kind of religion, it will lead you to either Swarga or Nark, according to your Papa and Punya. But performed in particular way, it will make you eligible for the performance of another religion, another type of religion, that is called Nivritti Lakshan Dharma. Therefore, they will reverse the actions. You understand the point? So there are three prakaras. This is Shankaracharya's interpretation of this. Therefore, although they themselves won't, go for the performance of sacrifice, etc., they will not condemn it wholeheartedly or wholesale. They would say, well, there are people, and really speaking, majority of people is like that, who are not patra, who are not adhikari of the religion of moksha as such. They have to undergo through some kind of exercise, and that exercise also include it will include the dhyana, for example, contemplation. It will include devotion. So far, they will not accept bhakti as the ultimate nishtha, ultimate end. They would say like karma, perform in particular way, without the desire of fruit of thereof. The bhakti also, makes you purify your heart. It is purify your, knowing capacity, knowing apparatus. So for them, the Pravrutti Lakshan Dharma would also, accept the performance of some of the things. So far as they happen to purify your heart, make you eligible to go for the higher type of religion. Even the devotion, the bhakti also give you this kind of result. It purifies. So in fact, in that case, even the God will help you. Right. So this is how the goal of life is set. If it is of two kinds, either Swarga or Upper Varga, as it is called sometimes. The ultimate is Upper Varga or the moksha itself. This is one thing. Now, even the others, the Jainas would accept some kind of Swarga or etc. The high couple of rewards, etc. But ultimate aim would be renouncing the actions, renouncing the worldly enjoyments, and go to that ultimate nirvana, etc. That would be there. So far as Buddhism is concerned, let me tell you again that even in Buddhism, here there are two things like Pravrutti Lakshan Dharma and Nivritti Lakshan Dharma. Even in Buddhism, you will find a parallel, the Hinayan and Mahayan. So Mahayan comes quite near to this kind of ritualistic, etc. Hinduism, and the Hinayan would definitely be some kind of Nivritti Lakshan Dharma. And as I told you at earlier stage of my lecture, that these three religions, again, as their counterpart of Semitic three religions, share many things in common. I don't know what you have been told regarding this goal of Buddhism, etc. But this is my interpretation of the relationship between these three religions. Suppose if I am a teacher, official teacher, or some kind of office bearer of that religion, particular religion, then I will have to hammer the autonomy, etc., of that religion, and also tell that how it is better than superior to the others. But as a student of religion, as a scholar of religion, I would definitely say that, well, these are three, but they share these many things. So the point is that the goal, moksha. Now, this is a general statement. Look at, you will find that even there will be some people, they would internalize the ritualistic, because if you are a devotee, that is bhakti marg. And may I tell you, but this has been already taken care of so far as Shankaracharya's conception regarding karma and bhakti. Their role is only to make you eligible for knowledge and moksha. But otherwise, if you just go through this Vivekananda's lectures, etc., you will find him saying that, well, there are, and this is right from the beginning, this Pravrutti Lakshan and Nivritti Lakshan is one kind of division. But otherwise, the Vedic lore itself consists of, it is believed, three parts, three aspects of Kanda. What are they? They are karma, that is this kind of ritualism of mimamsa. Then jnana, like the Shankaracharya, and third, upasana, or devotion. So action, knowledge, and devotion. These are generally taken to be three paths or three ways leading to that particular goal, which can be expressed in various words, like I told you, moksha and mukti and nirvana, kaivalya, and so on and so forth. But that is the point. That is the point. And these people, these three ways. But I'm going to add one more thing. See, with Shankaracharya, the knowledge takes upper hand. And of course, only those people who are ignorant or who are not who are not eligible, who are not adhikari for knowledge and accordingly moksha, they are supposed to follow the lesser kind of pravritti lakshana dharma. But once you are enlightened, then you need not go for such worldly actions. So the term, the technical term is for that jnanottara karma. If you are jnan, then your moksha is ensured, no problem. But then why should you indulge yourself in these base worldly activities? Keep them away. This is how Shankaracharya would say. Whereas Lokmanya Tilak, as I have just told you, in his Gita Rahasya, so he doesn't accept this view of Shankara Vedanta and particularly criticizes that particular view and says, well, he won't disagree that the moksha is the ultimate goal. No, he won't. But he said that even if you are capable of knowledge, having knowledge, you become adhikari, and you even understand the transient nature of the world, you are not qualified to renounce the world and worldly activities. On the contrary, as a enlightened person, it becomes your duty to act in proper way and set a kind of example for ordinary people. And for this, he uses the term jnanottara karma. That is action which is performed after having gained knowledge of one's own self, of course. And for this, he calls it nishkam karma. Now, the person who acts in this way or in this state, as I told you, doesn't act for his own sake. He has nothing to achieve now. But still, he has some affinity, concern with the people. Now, look at parallel. Buddha, the Mahayan cult would say, the Buddha has attained nirvana, really speaking, in principle, because he has understood whatever the nature of the world, kshanika, momentary, etc., etc. And he is definitely capable of being liberated. But he won't. Voluntarily, he would say, or rather he had said, that unless and until, or so long as there is at least one person who is not liberated, emancipated, I won't. That is Bodhisattva. So he is to enter the state of nirvana only after having been ensured that everyone in the world has entered. This is like jnanottara karma. So the Hindus or the Vedic people have no objection to accept Buddha as a model of karma yoga. Why not? You get my point. So this is the relationship between this karma and jnana. And the basic problem, again, let me tell you, the issue is, what is the goal? As I told you, it is nirvana, moksha, etc., etc. And what are the means? These three, and they are expressed in different parts of the Veda. At least so far as jnana and karma, they are concerned. With bhakti, there is some difference. I mean, it is a different issue. Whether there is jnanottar bhakti or upasana. And that is to say, there are some schools within Vedic tradition, Hindu tradition, which are totally dualist. They would say that, moksha doesn't consist of being identical or being one with the God, with the Brahman, because they are never one. The Jiva is Jiva and the Ishwar is Ishwar. So they're fundamentally different categories, fundamentally different substances, you can say. Like the Ramanuja and Madhva and even Chakradhara of Maharashtra, the Mahanuvav cult. But so far as these Advaita people are concerned, following Shankaracharya, etc., they would say that, after this kind of realization, I mean, so, to that extent, we accept this Advaita kind of thing, that there is kind of identity. After all, the self is universal self, fine. And one realizes this, fine. But even after this kind of realization, after this kind of enlightenment, one need not, really speaking, dissolve his existence, as it were, in that super reality, but continue to worship. Continue to worship. That is jnanottara bhakti. Because this is something, which gives some kind of meaning to your life. It's a kind of playful thing, playfulness. As it were, you are partaking a game. One partner is the God himself and other partner is the devotee. and well, they are enjoying the world in this way, in this way. So for them, and then here I will accept. I will just introduce the terminology of purushartha. Purushartha means the objectives which are supposed to be gained by the individual, the goals, etc. What are they? They are first dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Now, kama is a kind of enjoyment of whatever things you are available by way of enjoyment, gross to 5, depending on your taste. Okay, so that is entertainment. The point is that this is not. It is not possible to have that unless you have means to obtain them, and artha provides that means to you, maybe in the form of wealth and money and etc. etc. This is kama and artha. Now, what is dharma? Now, dharma is not an independent purushartha. One can say, this is my interpretation. Dharma is to obtain kama and artha in a socially acceptable frame without violating that frame. That is dharma. And if you perform these things in this way, your moksha is ensured. So that is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Now, last point, this devotional people would say that, well, we have become already eligible for what you call it moksha, but we won't have it now. We give it up. We renounce it because we are very much satisfied with the kind of satisfaction that we gain through this particular relationship between the God and myself. And therefore they would say that we have a kind of fifth purushartha, pancham purushartha, and that bhakti or devotion is itself a kind of purushartha. And that's all. So in short, this is, I can say, the rough sketch of the goal of life of Hinduism and means to attain that goal. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, Dr. Murray, for this wonderful and scholarly presentation of the goal of human life, human existence according to Hinduism. So thank you very much. And you brought out various traditions and comparison between various traditions, very scholarly attempt. So thank you for enlightening us regarding this topic. So now we have little time for a few questions.